Okay. So this is Sentinel, which is an agentic pull request automation tool, which judges code PRs, which reviews PRs. Pretty straightforward. But unlike most tools that are available off the shelf, this does not just judge the PRs against standard good code rules or quote unquote best practices, but actually goes through the code, understands the code in the PR, and reviews it against the code that is available in the target repository. So how does it do that? We have created a couple of agentic workflows which are kicked off when a pull request is opened, when a pull request is created, and they work like as follows. So when a pull request is created, it creates the first a code review agentic workflow, which has two agents that work in a sequential order. So the investigator agent goes through the git diff between the source and the target, understands the code that is being pushed, and gets the context about all the code, the function calls, and everything that is actually being pushed into the repository. Based on this context, the review agent reviews the code that is being pushed against the technical design document or TDD, which should be existing in the repository, and judges whether the code that is being pushed is in alignment with the specifications of the TDD or not. For example, if an email is supposed to be queued, the review agent verifies if the email is indeed being queued or if the code is going to make a breaking change to that particular specification. Once it has been determined that the code that is being pushed follows the specifications of the existing code base of the technical design document, then the conflict agent workflow is kicked off, which then ensures that there are no merge conflicts and resolves any merge conflicts, and based on its understanding of the code decides which part of the merge conflict to retain. Should it retain the source part of the file, or should it retain the target part of the file? So when a pull request is opened, it calls the Sentinel using a webhook, because Sentinel is hosted in the Cloud Run function. It calls it using a webhook, and these list of checks are kicked off. So the first three are standard CI checks, which basically check the title of the PR, the lint the code, checks the code is syntactically sound, and makes sure that the test covers more than 80% of the code. And then once these three pass, then it is then that the code review agentic workflow is kicked off, and once that passes, the merge conflict workflow is kicked off, which then reviews and resolves the merge conflicts. Once all these 5 checks are passed, the code is then pushed into the repository, and then the summary of the changes will be sent to both the contributor and the owner of the repository. So we have created a pull request here. So we have created a sample app which basically sends emails in a queue. Now a breaking change, and those changes have been specified in the technical design document of this repository here. Now a bad pull request in this case would be to send an email instantaneously as opposed to queuing it. So if I create a pull request, this is how I would create a pull request. And once that pull request is created, I'm going to go check the pull request, and it takes a couple of minutes for the agentic agentic workflow to complete its work. So I'm going to show you a pull request that has already been created. So this is how it would show a rejection, right? So the technical design document clearly specifies that the emails should be queued. But since the code that we have pushed instantaneously sends email as and when a task is completed, this is a bad PR, although it passes all the routine CI checks. This can be caught only by a human developer who reviews the code. And by automating it using agentic workflows, we are completely removing the human out of the loop, thereby freeing a lot of the time that usually is taken. And after the code is sent, it sends an email like this, which basically summarizes the change on why it was rejected.